Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Evil Empire. I'm your host, Evil Empire, and this week on our feature we have Karn's Prison, brought to you by Twitter user at Beth Bezos. And today, this is a very spicy brew. We have a combo deck coming at you, and we'll get to the substance of the combo in a minute. But I just want to thank Leah for letting me take this deck and do a feature on it. I've done a few changes to the deck, which I'll go over in a moment, but in essence, the idea behind the deck is really these two enchantments over here to the side. So 9 lives is going to prevent damage, and instead of getting that damage, you get an incarnation counter. When you get 9 incarnation counters, it leaves the battlefield, and you lose the game. So we have to prevent that with another enchantment, Solemnity, for 2 and a white. Players can't get counters, and then this is the really key part. Counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands. So in other words, our 9 lives will no longer get counters on it. We can't die to damage. There will be no creatures that will attack us for lethal damage. There will be no burn spells that burn us out for lethal damage because we have this combo lock in place. To complement the combo lock, I added 4 Karn the Great Creator to the deck, and I'll go over the Karn board very briefly at the end. We saw in the first video that I did, Nisatron, that Karn can be a very powerful remedy to whatever your opponent's deck is trying to do. So for the most part, we fetch Graveyard Hate, but we can also fetch other things that will be good against different decks. Let's start at the top here with the gold standard for Graveyard Hate. Rest in peace. Basically, this card reads that when you play it, there are no more graveyards. We don't play out of our graveyard. We don't depend on it at all. So this is pretty one-sided against our opponent. At the moment, there are a lot of graveyard decks in Historic. So Uro, Kroxa, many other types of graveyard strategies that are running wild right now. Godpharaoh's Gift is another one that we see quite frequently. And so that is a way to deal with it. Originally, Leah's list had 3 Rest in Peace, but I cut that down to just 1 because we're able to fetch it with the Idyllic Tutor or the Grim Tutor. 4 Revitalize as our cantrip of choice. 1 Argwell's Bloodfast to draw some cards. And even though we have to pay life for it, that's not going to be a huge problem when we're not taking any damage from the opponent. So we can afford to pay a little bit of life to draw some cards here. The 2 of Idyllic Tutor will go get our combo pieces, as well as Rest in Peace if we need that, or Ixalan's Binding even for that matter. One of my other additions to the deck is a Cry of the Carnarium as a 1-of, something that we can go get with Grim Tutor, and something that will really punish the Goblins deck if we're able to play this on or about turn 3. Turn 3-4, this against the Goblins deck is what we're hoping to hit here. We have 2 Kaya Orzhov Usurper as another way to hate on graveyards. This deck is loaded with graveyard hate. The 4 Karn we already went over as a kind of augmentation to the lock, and something that can give us different choices of how to lock out the opponent. 4 Wrath of God to control the board. 2 Ixalan's Binding to make sure that they can't cast their Muxus or their Ugin or their Nissa. 2 Liliana Dreadhorde General. This was originally a 3-of in the deck. I'm honestly on the fence about whether or not this belongs in the deck at all. I'm not sure that it plays together with the strategy, but it is a nice top-end finisher, so I'm sticking with it. And the bonus is that it draws us cards to get us closer to Approach of the Second Sun. This is the main win condition in the deck. It was originally a 4-of in Leah's list. I've cut it down to a 1-of because it's all you need to be able to win is just 1-of, and we can go grab it with Grim Tutor. Which I've used to go pick up Approach before, and it's a very effective way of getting it. The mana base, I've made quite a bit of changes here. This is probably the part that I changed the most in the deck. I went from 24 land in the original to 27 land because I found that just hitting land drops was the most effective way to win games. You really only suffered greatly if you didn't hit land drops or had the wrong color of mana. We've greatly increased the number of black sources in the deck. To be able to run the Grim Tutor for Carnarium combo, or whatever sequence. It's not really a combo, just a sequence that you would call it. And so that allows us to have as much black mana as we're probably going to need to be able to pull that off. That move takes 4 black mana, so tough to get sometimes. And in order to get there, I added a bunch of the Savai Triome. Now this would probably be better if it were without the red mana on it, but we don't have the so the cycling lands in Amonkhet are all the allied colored cycling lands, and that cycle of lands that has the basic types on them, the like irrigated farmland, the plains island type one, that cycle has not been completed in the enemy colors, so we actually don't have the land that we would want for that slot. And you'll notice that we also run a couple of other cycling lands, Secluded Steppe and Barrenmoor, because the deck really needs something to kind of churn through and get you to cards that you'll need to complete the lockout. So having those 2 cycling lands is a helpful thing, and then we have 4 more of them that cycle for a little bit more later in the game. And that is Karn Prison. So thank you very much to Leah, Twitter user at Beth Bezos. The last thing that I'd like to show is the Karn board, and I'll just go over a couple of choices that I want to make sure I'm clear about the reason that they're here. So the first 3 of these are fairly obvious. You could certainly run more Glass Casket if you find that that's something that you're struggling with. The Wishclaw Talisman, you have to be careful with this one because it is a Nombo with Solemnity. So in other words, if you try to cast Wishclaw Talisman while you have Solemnity on the field, it won't get any wish counters on it. You can't use Wishclaw Talisman if it doesn't have any wish counters on it. I've done this to myself once already, and it's very sad. So watch out for that. Damping Sphere, I think this will only be good if I see more Is It Prowess decks, or Arclight Phoenix decks might pop up here and there that this would be good against. I haven't fetched this one yet. Mazemind Tome, because it'll get us closer to our approach of the second sun, and it will also gain us some life. Ratchet Bomb as a board wipe, a bit slow, but it does the job. This is kind of, the Ratchet Bomb is kind of like the bad version of Engineered Explosives. And then Sorcerer's Spyglass is a 2 of here. It's going to help us shut down opponent planeswalkers for the most part, although I have also named Castle Lochthwain with this before. It's very effective that way to shut down any card that the opponent has that has an activated ability. Remember, you can use this on any card, so lands are fair game. Perilous Vault is our other board wipe. Golos, to be able to go get certain utility lands like Bojuka Bog or Castle Lochthwain. Bolas' Citadel is another situation where we have usually a fairly high life total, and we can use some of it to get some card advantage, although this can be a bit of a tricky problem. You can kill yourself pretty easily and lose the game by just paying too much life. And then skipping over these next 2 choices, which are pretty obvious, Parhelion 2 is strictly for fun. I don't want you to think that this is a competitive card. If you're interested in winning the most games, you should not have Parhelion 2 in your sideboard, but this is strictly to have a little bit of fun. I don't think I've ever pulled this off in a game, but what you can do is, if you can grab and fetch this with Karn, you can also use Karn's +1 ability to turn on the vehicle and make it into an 8/8 because of its converted mana cost. 8/8 flying first strike vigilance. When it attacks, create 8 more power flying in vigilance that's attacking. So this is, again, purely for memes. Don't be confused. So that is Karn's Prison, the deck in the historic feature for this week, September 6th. And let's take it to some games. Okay, I think this is going to be a keep. We have 2 Wraths and an Idyllic Tutor, so if we draw one of the combo pieces, we can tutor for the other one. To the bottom. We just need land here. It's goblins or mono red of some flavor. Could be burn, but burn usually runs Gigantha. Yeah, it's goblins for sure. Okay, so let's get the lock started. Let's first play Idyllic Tutor and grab 9 lives. And then next turn we will either... It kind of depends what the opponent puts down here, right? Okay, Chieftain, then we have to Wrath. We just have to. Okay, so here. And here. Okay, buys us a little more time. War Chief, hit you for 2. War Chief Instigator, hit you for 4. Wrath of God. We'll get to do that again next turn. Krenko, but no haste. Binding the Krenko. We'll save our Wrath for a better target. Don't want them playing any more of that. Matron for Muxus. Alright. We got our work cut out for us. Okay, land is good. Pray that they don't hit a haster. And then we have to hit a land to be able to idyllic tutor into Solemnity next turn. Boy, we're really behind it here. If they hit a haster, we're in huge trouble. Alright, can we not count to 9, please? Okay, it's only 7. Yeah, so we do get a chance at this. But we really need the land. 8. Oh, what if we just Wrath? Isn't that better? Yeah, I think that's better. Just Wrath them out of existence here. Alright, no haster, please. No haster, please. Okay, good. That's not a haste creature. So we go Idyllic Tutor, go grab Solemnity, and the game's over. Let's see if the opponent knows. Yep. They've seen this before. Okay, that's game. Yeah, this is a keep. So I go into more detail about it in the article that goes along with this week's video, but the reason that I'm able to kind of get away with a silly combo deck like this is just the fact that I'm in the middle ranks here in Platinum, and you do see a lot of the Sultai or Bant control decks that have Ugin in them, which are obviously a huge problem for this deck. Like, our only way to fight those decks is to play Karn and get Spyglass. But because of the fact that the metagame here is more or less aggro focused, there's a lot of Goblins decks, there's a lot of the Rakdos Pyromancer deck that I did a couple weeks ago. That's why I'm able to kind of do these silly things that I do here with this combo deck. Alright, let's clue them into what we're doing. 9 lives first. Prevents the damage that we're going to suffer. Yep. Take 4. Go to 16. Survive Triumph. Idyllic Tutor. Solemnity. Now, the interesting question is, will they have Gemraiser? Which is definitely a card that can hurt us hard. They'll use Gemraiser on our Solemnity if they are able to, because they can't target it with anything else. Itali. Spicy. Well, it has to deal damage, right? No, it's an attack trigger. Okay. Let's Wrath it away. And then we can just play the entire combo out next turn by taking some damage with the Shockland. Pretty much Wrath of God won us the game there. It doesn't have any of the lock pieces, but it's a fine enough hand, and we could probably draw into them with the Bloodfast, especially if this is a control mirror. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it. Might be the wrong decision, but we'll find out. Opponent goes to 6 with a mulligan. Keeps a 6-card hand. Godless Shrine tapped, go. Okay, mono blue perhaps. It's going to be a challenge, certainly. Let's get down the Bloodfast against them. Unless they Spell Pierce it. Nope, they choose to let it resolve. If they had the Spell Pierce, they're not playing it. Okay, Opt actually does not sound like mono blue anymore. Okay, so is it Prowess? Play Rest in Peace. I don't know if it does anything against them. Do I like that over Revitalize? Not really. Okay, so opponent has chosen to leave up Counterspell. So we're going to play the Karn into their Counterspell. What? Why did that resolve? That was weird.
My allies are counting on
Guess they don't care much about it. We will Ratchet Bomb. It's going to kill our Bloodfast, but we don't want to pay life against this deck anyway. Alright, so Flash Creature at EOT maybe? Like a Brazen Borrower or a... Nope, just an Opt, okay. Okay, they top that card, and now they're going to use Lightning Strike on Karn. I mean, if Karn eats a Bolt, that's a perfectly good use of Karn. Okay, they bottomed this one, draw an Unknown. Now they've got to make land drop, they've drawn so many cards. Sprite Dragon attacks me or attacks Karn? Attacks Karn.
Do not pity me.
Alright, so let's start with this, which they'll probably counter. Okay, maybe they don't have counter spells. Because if they did, you have to figure they would use them there. Because this is definitely killing their Sprite Dragon in a couple turns. I think they're pretty light on counter magic. So I think in that case, I'm just going to jam Wrath of God. And we'll save the Ratchet Bomb for when we need it again. Yeah, now we're definitely just going to do that. Oh, another Wrath is good. Alright, well here would be where they'd have to use it. Okay, yeah. Glad we got it out of their hand. But now we're taking a lot of damage next turn. We do have another one, although it's tempting to just play 9 lives. Alright, if they have another counter for this next Wrath, then we're probably just dead. Which, I mean, we're pretty close to it now, right? Yeah, we might as well. We need another land. Alright, that's game. I think we're going to mulligan this to try to find some of the lock pieces. Okay, we have them. Put back the binding. Okay, let's hope it's mono white. The lock is very good against mono white. Unless they run Conclave Tribunal. Okay, but mono white wouldn't run Mind Stone, would it? No, it would not. So this is some kind of white artifact deck, like Tempered Steel deck, maybe. Oh! They're gonna try to lock out the lock deck. That's funny. Uh, Gosh, I really just want to draw, like, land here. Alright, so this is the mono white Crim version, which means that they're running Overwhelming Splendor and a full playset of Immortal Sun. What's good against that? Well, I mean, Karn, right? Yep, Idyllic Tutor, play 9 lives. But that's not how we're trying to win the game, so it's not that good against us. Tap land. Maybe just Revitalize. Okay, well we need mana for Approach to be any good. Opponent does have the Mind Stones to draw cards off of, which they'll probably do at the end of our turn. Alright, so let's Karn. Okay, if they want to do that now, that's fine. Alright, what can we get for 4 mana?
I have faced worse than the likes of you. You will not threaten this world.
Well, Ratchet Bomb, right? Yeah, we Ratchet Bomb their 9 lives. They lose the game. So that's the plan. Let's see if it works. Probably not going to work, but we'll give it a shot. Oh my. Oh my dear. It worked. It worked a lot better than I thought it was going to work. Well, you know, I guess I just kind of knew how to fight the deck because I'm playing it, so. Alright, so it has the combo in hand, which means it's an auto keep. Now we just have to pray that our opponent cares about this combo. Plenty of decks in Historic that do not try to kill you with creature damage. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. We do have Karn to go get the Spyglass. We just need to draw some land. Come on, land off the top, land off the top. Darn it. Alright, so Solemnity first here because Nissa. Yeah, they have Nissa in hand, and that was their play for this turn. The way they're pausing here makes me think that they are in fact trying to play a turn 3 Nissa here, and now they can't. Or, I mean, they can, but it's just they can't animate a land with it. Okay, so now they're going to go for something bigger next turn. Still no land. Alright, let's put the combo down and we'll see what they have. They can't have Ugin yet. They're on 6, they'll be on 7. So, it gives us precisely 1 turn to be able to go get what we want to get. Now, they have read Solemnity, right? They have not. They have not read Solemnity, folks. They have not read it. Okay, so shock for this. And then not thinking that Wrath is actually any good here, so see if we can fade an Ugin for 1 turn. Spyglass for the Ugin. Alright, let's see if they have Ratchet Bomb. Although we could Spyglass the Ratchet Bomb. I don't know. Oh no, we have Karn out. They can't Ratchet Bomb. And they can't Nissa land either. Now, if they didn't Ugin right there, then that means that they don't have it. Because they would have Ugined to win the game. You're going to have a hard time activating that with Karn on the field. They're going to attack Karn for 2 here. Okay, yeah, pulsing Nissa without targeting a land is smart.
This will not deter me.
But we have this thing called Wrath of God.
There is great power in the things we make.
So did they draw the Ugin? They did. Alright, we lose.
Knowledge is rotting fruit.
Yeah, that's a keep. Okay, having Lurrus in the command zone is very good for us. Let's just turn 1 cycle, because we don't actually need that land. Okay, so this is the Auras version, not the Pyromancer version. So next turn is Idyllic Tutor for Solemnity. And we're on the play here, so this is pretty much a stone cold lock. Unless we misclick, which is always possible. Could always just misclick while I'm tutoring. I've done that before. Be careful what you click on when you're tutoring in this deck, because they don't give you a confirmation step when you're tutoring for a card. They assume that you know what you're doing, which is a very dangerous assumption. Yep, so this is all well and good, but it doesn't matter at all. We take 8, 9. Yeah, so we take 9, but that's all we're going to take. So, yes, this deck doesn't run any type of interaction, so there's no chance that we lose this game. We're about a 99.9% lock right now. Yep. And those are the free wins that you get with this deck. Yeah, this is fine. It has the ability to tutor for the lock. Okay, Lurrus deck, this is a good matchup for us. We're going to Temple of Silence first and get a land off the top of our deck. If we have one there, we're just going to scry to the bottom. Opponent deciding whether to keep or maul. Yeah, we'll take a Wrath, that's fine. So I think we're going to turn 3 Grim Tutor for the 9 lives. Or not. Let's see, do they take Solemnity or Grim Tutor? It's an interesting question, right? Luckily our Wrath of God was on the top of our deck anyway, so... Arcanist, so whatever we tutor for is gone anyway. We'll just cycle then. They're gonna Thought Seize away the Grim Tutor. We'll just cycle the Triome after they take our Grim Tutor. Boy, oh boy, that's a lot of thought seizes. So we're also getting thought seized a third time after this. Because they milled one with the Stitcher supplier. Do they take their wrath here? I think they just take the tutor, right? And then we go binding on the Arcanist. Oh, are they going to take the binding? That's interesting. Nope, they're going to take the wrath. Alright. I think I would have taken the binding if I were the opponent or the tutor. I don't know that I would have done either of the things that they did. But they are the opponent. They're going to make their own choices whether I want them to or not. Alright, so pay life, binding on the Arcanist so we can stop getting our hand ripped apart. I think Grim Tutor's actually going to go get a Rest in Peace. Or maybe Idyllic Tutor goes and gets that. Still hanging in this game. We're not done yet. Ooh, okay. Bajuka Bog's pretty good. Let's go Bajuka Bog. Into Grim Tutor for 9 lives. So hopefully we draw an untapped land for next turn and we can Idyllic Tutor for Solemnity. And be able to play 2 things that turn. Otherwise we're going to Idyllic Tutor and then play Bloodfast. Yeah, opponent's got to have a claim in hand, and now they're going to claim back the... Oh, come on. Duress, main deck? Really? I'm going to take the 9 lives here? Sure. Alright, then maybe we just Idyllic Tutor for Rip. Nice. Okay, decisions. What do we do? Let's just do Solemnity and Bloodfast. And then next turn we'll pray to get the untapped land for 9 lives. So we take at least 4 next turn, go to 7. Okay, that's 2 more, go to 5, 6. Oh boy. Alright, so we go to 1. It is going to flip the Bloodbath though. So they have to kill us here, otherwise they lose. Croxa, maybe? No. Oh boy. Yeah, we need that land real bad. Okay, well we drew the land anyway, that's cool. Tutor for 9 lives, and this is a done deal. Because they don't run any way to kill this. Alright, we can no longer lose the game. Does the opponent know that they've lost the game? That's now the question that we're considering here. You came real close, opponent. You came very close. You've 1 point of damage away. Yep, they figured it out. That's game. So that is Karn's Prison, our featured deck this week. As you can see, it's, sometimes competitive and sometimes it just dies to Ugin. Mostly I think this deck is a fun kind of meme deck. Running the combo of Solemnity and 9 lives is only going to get certain decks. which are a large percentage of the meta. But with Ugin the Spirit Dragon seeing so much play, I think we died to that quite a bit, exiling our 9 lives. So it is a bit of a risky choice, but a very fun one. And the one thing that I regret about the video is not getting a chance to show you the power of Bolas' Citadel in this deck. It really helps us go off, and I've had it to a point where I played most of my deck with Bolas' Citadel, which I think is an excellent card in this deck, even though we do run 27 lands. We have ways to cycle away those lands from the top of our deck. We also have ways to draw them off the top of our deck with Revitalize and things like that. Bloodfast being another way we can draw a card off the top of our deck if it's a land. So we have some ways to go off with it, and when we get Bolas' Citadel or are able to, tutor for it with Karn at least, that is a really fun time. I enjoyed, especially when I got to a point, I think I had 16 cards left in my deck because I was just playing the whole thing with Bolas' Citadel. Eventually, it finds us our approach of the Second Sun, and that one of copy we end up playing to win the game. But so things, as far as things I might change about the deck, certainly the sideboard can always use tuning. I've never fetched the Perilous Vault yet. I think that has to go. But in the main deck, what I would look at tuning, I'm not sure about Liliana here, although she's a great source of card advantage. I might just replace her with 2 more copies of Approach. And then you might also want to go up on an Ixalan's Binding, cutting something like a Kaya, perhaps. But those are just some things to think about if you want to play this deck. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed me getting Ugin out of existence. That was not particularly fun for me, but at any rate, that's the video for this week. This is Evil Empire, signing off.